The morning broke gently over the small valley nestled between the mountains of Via Carmesí. Dawn unfolded in soft layers of gold and rose, spilling light over stone cottages, vegetable gardens heavy with dew, and the narrow dirt road that cut through the village like a quiet ribbon. The mountains rose on every side, vast, protective, ancient, like silent guardians shielding the people below from the restless world beyond. Life in Via Carmesí moved at an unhurried pace. Neighbors knew one another not only by name, but by story, by sorrow, by memory. And among them all, no one was more familiar than Celeste Delgado, the bread girl, the blue-eyed young woman whose presence could slow a traveler mid-step without her ever trying. Celeste was 25 years old. Her mother had died bringing her into the world, leaving behind no explanation of the man who fathered her. That unanswered question had followed Celeste through childhood like a faint shadow. She had grown up with the quiet knowledge that her very birth had cost someone dearly. Yet she had never allowed bitterness to root itself in her heart. Her uncle Rufino and Aunt Antonietta had raised her as their own. Their home was modest, built of dark stone, worn smooth by time, but it was cared for with devotion. Love lived in that house, not the grand kind sung about in royal courts, but the steady kind that wakes before sunrise and rests only after everyone else has eaten. Rufino had tried more than once to arrange a marriage for Celeste, but the family's savings had been spent on the wedding of their daughter Giulietta 2 years earlier. Giulietta now lived in the city and returned only occasionally, bringing stories of noise and crowds that felt distant from mountain life. Celeste had asked her uncle to stop searching for suitors. "I am happy here," she had told him. "You and Aunt need me." And so the matter had rested. That morning, as Celeste prepared her baskets of fresh bread, Aunt Antonietta appeared in the kitchen doorway, twisting her apron in her hands. "Rest today, Celeste," the older woman urged softly. "You have worked without pause all week. The sun will be harsh." Celeste lifted her blue eyes and smiled with quiet resolve. "We need Uncle's medicine," she replied gently. "I will not be long." Antonietta knew that once Celeste's heart settled on something, no argument could uproot it. So she stood there, watching her niece tie a yellow scarf over her dark hair, lift the warm baskets, kiss her wrinkled cheek, and step into the golden morning. As Celeste walked along the road, the scent of fresh bread trailing behind her, an elegant carriage descended the winding mountain path towards Via Carmesí. Inside sat Hernán Velasco, Duke of Saloya. 36 years old, 12 years in power, broad-shouldered, brown-haired, dark-eyed, a man accustomed to decisions that shaped the lives of hundreds. The crown had sent him with a clear mission: evaluate the valley's land for potential barley expansion. Saloya needed fertile ground urgently. Hernán had always executed his duties with efficiency. He was respected, feared, obeyed, and alone. 5 years earlier, he had married Lucia. The union was strategic, expected, applauded, but affection had never grown between them. Ambition had consumed her. Distance had grown like a widening crack in stone. When she died suddenly of a heart attack, Hernán had felt not grief, but emptiness, a hollow confirmation that he had never truly been loved. Since then, he had sworn that if he ever married again, it would be for love or not at all. The carriage slowed as they reached the outskirts of the village. "My lord," said Fernando, his loyal coachman, "we are arriving. There appears to be no inn." Hernán stepped down, surveying the humble homes. Fernando hesitated. "With respect, these families are simple folk. You are a duke. They may not welcome such presents." Hernán understood. Trust would be crucial if negotiations were to succeed. A bold idea crossed his mind. "Fernando," he said calmly, "did you pack a spare change of clothes?" Moments later, the Duke of Saloya wore the plain garments of a coachman and sat beside Fernando at the front of the carriage. "We will say we came ahead to prepare for the Duke's arrival," Hernán explained with a faint smile. "People speak more freely to common men." Fernando frowned. "And when you reveal yourself?" "We will focus on one family at a time." They tested the idea along the road, asking vendors for food on promise of later payment. None agreed. Until they reached her. Celeste stood with her baskets, sunlight caught in her dark hair, yellow scarf bright against the mountain sky. The aroma of fresh bread drifted toward them. Hernán's stomach betrayed him with a growl. "Good morning," he greeted. "Good morning, gentlemen. Fresh bread." He met her eyes. "We have no money at present. We are hungry. May we pay later?" She studied him. His posture, his speech, something did not match the worn clothing, yet hunger echoed unmistakably in his expression. Without hesitation, she handed him a warm loaf. "Eat," she said simply. "Hunger should not be ignored." The gesture struck him deeper than he expected. He had encountered calculation his entire adult life, never such effortless kindness. "When will you be here until?" he asked. "Until evening." "I will return." As the carriage moved on, Fernando whispered, "We have money." "I know," Hernán replied, breaking bread, "but I needed to find generous heart." He returned before sunset. Celeste walked home with empty baskets, hair loosened by the wind. "I said I would return," he said. They spoke. He asked for lodging. She questioned his earlier lie. He admitted it openly. "I wished to be welcomed for who I am," he confessed. She considered him carefully. Practical thoughts filled her mind. Medicine, money, her uncle's worsening cough. "We have a room beside the stable," she said at last. When she learned his true identity later that evening, when her uncle recognized the Velasco name, the air shifted. "You did not tell me," she said quietly to Hernán, disappointment more than anger in her tone. "I wanted honesty," he answered, "not obligation." Against expectations, he insisted on keeping the stable room. And that night, in a small stone chamber with mattresses laid upon the floor, the Duke of Saloya slept beneath a farmer's roof. The next day, Celeste led him across the valley on horseback. He examined soil with skilled hands, spoke of irrigation and crop rotation with knowledge that surprised her. They reached a hidden lake, dark water reflecting mountain sky. "If you catch 3 fish for lunch," she challenged, "we negotiate a better room." He laughed and caught 4. Their visits to villagers were cautious. Many feared losing peace for promised prosperity. Yet wherever Celeste stood beside him, doors opened a little wider. By the 3rd evening, an invitation came from Doña Rosa, the elder matriarch of the valley. "Come tomorrow," she declared. "There will be a bonfire. You will meet everyone at once." That night, sleep eluded Hernán. Drawn by the glow of kitchen light, he found Celeste kneading dough before dawn. The scent of yeast filled the air. Her sleeves were dusted with flour. "Could not sleep?" she asked softly. He admitted more than intended. He spoke of his loveless marriage, of loneliness inside marble halls. "Did you love her?" Celeste asked softly. "No," he answered honestly. "I fulfilled duty, not desire." She listened without judgment. "Here," she said after a pause, "we value peace. We fear losing it." "I do not wish to take it," he replied. "I wish to strengthen it." Morning would bring the bonfire. Decisions would approach. But in that quiet kitchen,
between flower-covered hands and a duke who no longer hid behind title, something else had begun, small as a seed pressed into dark soil, a seed of trust. And neither of them yet understood how deeply it would take root.